Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. Bitcoin is once again breaking out and is kind of suppressing a lot of the altcoins. Today I want to dive into some new Bitcoin analysis. We got a lot of really important charts that are going to map out the direction I see Bitcoin heading over the next couple weeks, and then we're also going to be taking a look at the direction in which I see the altcoins heading as Bitcoin is breaking out. Are altcoins about to be more bearish, or are they going to continue to rally alongside Bitcoin? All of this is going to get covered in today's video, so make sure you guys stay through all of it. Now, with all that being said, guys, if you ever want to sign up for an amazing Discord community, I have a server with over 17,000 members, and it's growing so fast. I would love it if you guys would join, sign up. It's free for anybody that wants to. All you guys got to do to join is to click inside the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord server. Now, on the Discord server, I also offer my exclusive content to my private VIP groups. I offer a video course, and I offer signals. So if you guys want to copy my portfolio and follow every trade that I take, as well as get access to private VIP videos only mentioned inside of my Discord, then make sure you guys stay all the way to the end of this video, because then I'm going to take a couple minutes to explain how you guys can get signed up, the pros of doing so, and what it's going to take to get you guys going today. One final thought before we jump into the video, guys, is I have a free ebook. This is an amazing study guide that I've made, spent a ton of time editing towards, so I could give you guys a really cool guide to help you guys understand trading, investing, and really what to do inside of these markets. It's a guide I wish I would have had when I first got into the markets, because I know how hard it was and how intimidating it was when I didn't know what I was doing. So I've gone through, made this for you guys, and it's free. So make sure you guys download it. Links are provided for you in the description. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so first things first, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin on the dollar. As you guys can see, Bitcoin has hit 16K. I wanted to give you guys a couple updates here as far as what I'm thinking with Bitcoin. Not much has changed since my last video of yesterday. Really, the only things that I want to talk to you guys today is on the shorter time frames and what I'm seeing. Now, as it stands right now, Bitcoin has made a short-term breakout. Support really needs to hold where we're at right now. It looks like we're getting a retest of this level. It is possible that we could even fall a little bit lower, potentially down here to about 15,800 before ultimately we do find that support level. You know, the way it looks right now, I think that we will ultimately get one more push up, just because we have kind of broken from this little triangle that we were watching. And so after the break of a triangle, you would expect at least one more push upwards. And so that's really what I'm going to be watching out for with Bitcoin. One more push upwards. If we drop it to about let's go to a weekly time frame here. Let's remove these drawing tools. Really the level that I'm personally going to be watching for is right about here. And we're pretty much right at that resistance. You know, this is about 16.2. I'm even going to raise this up a little bit higher and go all the way upwards of about 17K. So right within this range is where I'm personally watching for Bitcoin to top out. And like I stated in my yesterday's video, it is very possible that Bitcoin could actually top out where we're at. You know, maybe we don't get that final push upwards and we just end up selling off right now. That is also very possible too. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is just the fact that, you know, we are gone so parabolic right here. Like, this is just basically vertical price action. And so you really don't want to be buying in at this point, because ultimately buying in at this point is probably going to result in a loss. I mean, long term, yeah, you'll be fine, because ultimately long term, I expect Bitcoin to break all-time highs. But the way it stands right now, whether we get rejected here or go for one more high, I do think that we're going to end up selling off pretty drastically. Now, when I say drastically, I mean about 20%. So, I mean, it's not the craziest sell-off in the world, but, you know, you don't want to buy right now. You'd want to wait for that discount that we might get, you know, if we do sell off that 20%, which 20% from about 16.2 takes us to about, you know, 13K approximately. And so that's really going to be the next level I'm watching for. I would say anywhere from about 13,800 down to 12,500. 12,500 was the high of this move right here before he sold off. 13K is about right here. Let's label it for you guys. So 13K takes us to about here. And then we also have this level at about 12.5. So this is going to be where I'm personally going to be watching for Bitcoin to fall back onto support. I think that this is just a really logical area, considering we never really retested the breakout point. And if you guys remember from the last breakout that we saw, let's go over here. So when we broke out of this move, right about here at 12.5 approximately, when we broke out of this resistance, we broke out of it, but then we immediately sold off back down to retest that level, right? I'm kind of thinking that we're going to see the same type of move right now inside of Bitcoin. You know, we broke out of this major resistance at 14K. We also broke out of the one at 12.5, which is kind of one and the same as far as this goes. So we broke out of both of those, but we never retested that level. And prices got really parabolic as we rallied upwards of these resistance levels. And so I think a lot of people saw Bitcoin take off. A lot of people got really excited, and a lot of people FOMO'd as well. But ultimately, you know, I think that we're going to end up with a similar move right here where we do get this little correction back down. And that is going to be the moment where we actually retest this high, something along the lines of this, which would, you know, equal a 20% sell-off. So I just wanted to keep you guys aware that ultimately now is not the time to be buying Bitcoin. I think that it's going to get that sell-off. And so if you've been waiting on the sideline, you got extra cash, you want to unload it, just wait for Bitcoin to correct a little bit. That's going to be the smartest move. You know, like I said, I think Bitcoin can head anywhere from about 16.2, even upwards to 17K. And that's really the resistance that I'm going to be watching for. And guys, the cool thing about this is the fact that, you know, aside from this resistance here, once we can clear this, there really is only one resistance left, and that's the all-time high. And so this is a very good sign. You know, even if we do get this short-term correction back down to retest some of these support levels, that's a very bullish sign because we only have one or two real resistance left until we're in price discovery going into new all-time highs. And so that's a very encouraging sign. Remember, guys, just to focus on that long-term because that's really all that matters now. Now let's actually dive into some of the other charts so I can give you guys some deeper perspective as far as that goes. Now, we talked about Bitcoin a little bit. Let's actually talk about the altcoins because as it stands right now, you know, I see a lot of people kind of iffy on alts just because the Bitcoin dominance is actually rising, and we will dive into the Bitcoin dominance chart here in a second. But what I want to talk to you guys about the altcoins specifically is really just the fact that not much has changed, and what I see right now is just us grinding on this black trend line. This is just slow accumulation as we're building a base heading into an impulse. We haven't really seen a big impulse. You know, we did get this move here, but in my opinion, it really wasn't an impulse. It was just kind of a short-term break. In my opinion, it really wasn't a big impulse. It was just kind of a short-term breakout, but I do expect that the next move is going to get a little bit more impulsive. Now, what I see right now as it follows is we just cleared the 700-day range. As you guys know, you know, this was a very long period of time in which you consolidated here, over 700 days worth of this sideways consolidation, and we just barely broke out of that. And so we retested this level, and notice how we're kind of rounding out and grinding back on the upside of this this trend line. You know, it's a very bullish sign, and it really shows that this trend line is strong. The fact that we sold off, retested this level, we sold off again, retested this level, and then we just kind of started grinding on the upside of this trend line. That shows that there's a lot more buy support. And so, you know, as it stands right now, I'm not really expecting to see a break through this trend line. If we did get a break through this trend line, I would be targeting down here at about $100 billion, about right here. That's going to be the area that I would target if we did get a breakdown. But as it stands right now, I'm going to continue to be bullish just because we are respecting this trend line. And we really don't have a resistance until, you know, upwards of about 260 billion. And that's going to be where I'm personally going to target for the next move coming inside of these altcoins. I think it'd be something like this. As we rally up pretty quickly, it'd be pretty parabolic, something a lot quicker, something like this, but even quicker than that. And then ultimately that's where I would experience or expect to experience some type of sell-off. And so as it stands, guys, just remember that I think the altcoins are more bullish. Like I stated, we did flip this range. We're watching to see how this trend line holds. On the shorter time frames, if we really just kind of dive in here and get a little bit closer to the chart, we can see that if we have this resistance, we label the candle bodies. Keep in mind, guys, I'm on the 3-day time frame. We can see that we are technically above this level. We can see candle bodies are closing above resistance, and so that's really bullish. You know, it is possible that we could sell back below, so just be aware. We got to see how this 3-day candle actually ends up closing. We'll actually know in a couple days, so we still have 2 full days worth of consolidation before we fully know. Yes, this could close below, and it could look a lot more bearish, and we'll just have to see what happens as Bitcoin consolidates. But, you know, the way it looks as we stand, it just seems a lot more bullish as we respect this trend line. I would expect us to break out of this. And so we're going to watch and see what happens. Now let's actually dive into the total market cap, and let's talk about some updates here. As you guys can see, with Bitcoin breaking out, we've actually claimed above these resistance levels, and we really don't have too many resistance. In my opinion, you know, we have this one about right here, and we're pretty much right at that at 475 billion. And so, you know, maybe we get a short-term correction there, but as it stands, the way it looks with Bitcoin, you know, it just seems a lot more bullish than anything. We see Bitcoin taking off. Bitcoin's really close to those all-time highs. Ultimately, I think Bitcoin is the better chart to look at instead of the total market cap, because the total market cap, you know, it's got a few different resistances in here. At this point, it could really stop anywhere in between this zone and it would be valid. Whereas with Bitcoin, you know, we have a pretty obvious resistance level that's easier to look at as far as technicals go. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for with the total market cap. You know, ultimately we have this resistance at 475. I think that we are going to find a short-term correction very soon. When we do get that correction, what happens after? Well, you know, ultimately, whenever we do find this short-term top, I would expect a retest of this move here before ultimately going up much higher. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for. One more rally up. Wherever we find this resistance, we will get a short-term top. We'll correct back down to retest some of these resistance levels. And who knows, if this thing gets really parabolic, you know, maybe we only end up retesting back down to here or something. It's all these different scenarios are possible. Just be aware of that. Ultimately, everything's more bullish, but I do expect that we are going to get a short-term correction. Now, let's actually take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, because the Bitcoin dominance has really been climbing. And we're at a very important level where we're pretty much right at our last resistance here. Every single time we've hit this, we've rejected. My target was 64. We've actually peaked above 64, and we're just under 66%. And so we're going to watch and see exactly what ends up happening with this. But Bitcoin dominance is sitting right at its resistance. On top of that, Bitcoin itself is sitting right at resistance. Altcoins seem to be, you know, grinding up after breaking out of a 700-day range. So I honestly think that we very easily could be at the point of the cycle, which we haven't seen since 2017, keep in mind. This hasn't happened since 2017, but what used to happen a lot in 2017 was Bitcoin would rally, it would pump really hard, altcoins would be suppressed, they either would bleed or they wouldn't do anything at all. And then when Bitcoin would top out, that would kind of lift off the pressure of the altcoins, and then they would just kind of take off. And so that was kind of what would happen in the last cycle, and it happened pretty consistently. And so I was watching to see if this is going to be the same scenario, because Bitcoin dominance is at resistance. You know, if we're going to see a rally in altcoins and we're going to see altcoins start taking off, this needs to be rejected basically where we're at. And so with the altcoins, you know, I think that we could be at the point where Bitcoin itself actually makes a short-term top, and as we start correcting, as we start selling off, that's when we're going to see altcoins really start to pump. And this is what happened a lot in the last cycle. We have yet to see at any point during this one here, but you know, we haven't even broken all-time highs, and so the market may be a little bit different than it would be behaving back as we were in here, because ultimately that's what we saw in the last cycle. Sometimes Bitcoin would rally, something like this. I remember that this is actually a very valid point of it. So Bitcoin, we had the China FUD over here. It sold off back down to $1,000, and then from $1,000, it went all the way up to $3,000, right? Altcoins didn't really do anything in this entire move. And in fact, they didn't do anything until Bitcoin started selling off here. Once Bitcoin started topping off, that kind of released the momentum inside of the altcoins, and then that's when they started flying. And so we should watch to see the same things. You know, we really haven't seen too big of a parabolic move until about right now. This is a very big move. You know, over here was a big move too, but it was so early in the cycle that we just couldn't tell. And so I'm just watching for these little things. Overall, I'm bullish. I'm bearish on Bitcoin just because I believe that we're right at a major resistance level. It's most likely going to lead in a correction of some type. When I look at the altcoins, they look a lot more bullish. But that could change depending on what happens with Bitcoin. You know, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe altcoins don't end up rallying if Bitcoin tops out, where ultimately we could experience Bitcoin and altcoins sell off. And so if the altcoins sell off, you know, this chart really isn't going to look nearly as good as it could have. But if altcoins sell off, I would be targeting $100 billion, or about right here. And then ultimately, I would expect them to keep going up. And, you know, that would just be major suppression. It would be major weakness inside of the altcoins, and it really wouldn't be a super bullish sign. But ultimately, you know, you would be able to accumulate some cheaper alts. So these are the things I'm watching for. Anyways, guys, as we wrap up this video, I want to take a couple minutes to explain how you guys can sign up for the video course and signals for the people that want to. When you guys watch my analysis and you really enjoy what I do, you like to support the channel, I always recommend that you guys check out my VIP course or signals. The first package is the video course, which is 20 educational videos that are going to teach you guys technical analysis, how to trade inside of these cryptocurrency markets. And it's a really good guide to really help you guys if you want to do this stuff that I do every single day on your own. Now for the other, I actually offer the signals, which is the ability to copy every single trade that I take, which is posted inside of a private chat room in my Discord server. Now on top of that, you guys are also getting access to my entire long-term portfolio. So you'll know every single cryptocurrency that I'm holding in that, how much percentages I've allocated to each investment. So you guys can get in there, copy my portfolio, and really just get a sizable, and really just make sure that you're protected as we head into this next cycle. You're going to get sound investments, you're going to get top performing altcoins, and you're also going to get access to all of the newsletters that I have. You know, I pay a lot of money for newsletters. I pay a lot of money for different groups so I can get really good signals. And so, you know, if you guys want to get access to that stuff, make sure you guys sign up for my signals. If you guys can only pick one, because you guys can purchase them together or separate, but if you can only pick one, I always recommend going with the signals first, because the signals are going to be the way for you guys to copy my portfolio and make a lot of money in the process. I really recommend doing that first and foremost. And then if you guys want to take some of that profit and then ultimately buy the course after, you know, that's also a really sound option. But ultimately, I think copying my portfolio right now is the best strategy you guys can do. So make sure you guys check that out. Links are provided for you in the description. One final thought, guys, is if you don't want to sign up for any of my VIP content, make sure to download my free ebook. This is a really good study guide that's going to help you guys learn the ins and outs to cryptocurrency investing and trading. I've spent a ton of time dedicating towards making it to help new guys that don't really know a lot about crypto get in and have some type of a guide to go off of. So once again, links are provided for you in the description to sign up for any of my VIP content or download my ebook. And with all that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.